Hey guys, now we're looking at the European Tour, and we had a great winner last week, Pablo Larrazabal at 70-1. Let's see if we can recreate the magic this week. Well, we're back at the Alstom Open de France, Paris National, and one of the favourites of the players on the tour, and I think Martin Kaymer from 10-1 will do a lot better this week. He tied 13th last week in his homeland, which wasn't bad, but his greens, his driving and green stats were very poor. Now, he loves the greens in Paris. Remember in 2009 when he won, he put a 100-foot putt in one of the 4 rounds, and I remember 2 40-foot putts in the final round. So Martin Kaymer on the greens this week will be more of a force, and at 10-1 he's a pretty good bet. All the Hansen, Soren, Anders and Peter have had great results at Paris in the past, but I'm picking Peter as my second tip this week at 22-1. He tied 6th in 2009, tied 4th last year. He came 7th in the US Open, and on the last appearance on the regular European Tour he came 4th in Wales. So he's on a really good stretch of form. He's returning this week after a break. So Peter Hansen from 22-1 is a pretty good bet. Of the home favourites, maybe Raphael Jacquelin at 66-1 has a chance. His driving and putting stats last week on the European Tour were as good as the winners, but his greens in regulation or his iron play was pretty poor. If he can get that sorted this week, he could really figure from 66-1. Remember, he won in Sicily earlier on in the year, so Raf Jack, I think, has another win in him. If you're looking for some long odds glory, try Richard Green at 65-1. He's been a really good player on this course. Now, Richard will be the first man to tell you that there's only 4 or 5 courses on the European Tour that suits him. He said this last year at Killarney, and Paris National is definitely one of those. He's had 4 top 10s in the last 6 stagings. You'll remember he came very close to Jean-Francois Remesy in 2004 when Remesy was winning back-to-back Paris Open de France titles. So Richard Green, he always does well on the course. He's 65-1 on Betfair at the minute. I think that's pretty good odds. Also 65-1 is England's Mark Foster, and you might even get him at better odds. He tied 3rd in Germany last week. He was tied 6th here in Paris last week. So those guys, Richard Green and Mark Foster, I think are at excellent odds. You can also check out it to finish in the top 10 for those 2 guys at maybe 6 or 7-1, which is pretty good. So those are our tips. Choose wisely, and we'll see you next week to see how we get on.